there's only a very few journalists wrote the story. Nick Davis of The Guardian has been instrumental, but also people like Martin Hickman on The Independent. Very few other newspapers reported this story. I think it's only kept alive because of social media, groups of people on Facebook, on Twitter, trade unions using their social media platforms to talk about the message. So for me, it's a really interesting political lesson. It's a lesson for the unions as well, that if you want to get a message over that is not normally going to get column inches in a national newspaper, use social media.
Tom, the next question I'd really like to ask is, it goes to the heart of your answer actually, the reluctance of media outlets to pursue this story as they've known about it for a number of years. Would you like to share your views on why there's been such a reluctance on media outlets to pursue this story?
Well, it's actually been, the general belief is that when mobile phones became ubiquitous back in the 90s, when computers were in every home, most news groups, or certainly most newsrooms, were involved in some form of breach of the law when it came to hacking. And then there was an important court case in 2004 where a private investigator, Steve Whittemore, was convicted of breaching the Data Protection Act. Most news groups then cleaned up their act, but it appears that News International carried on. However, the other newspapers didn't want to air the industry's dirty linen in their news pages, and therefore didn't report the story as it emerged.
You said that the reason why this story's been kept alive has been largely due to new social media, because of the print industry in particular not wanting to touch the story. What are the advantages, do you think, of social media for trade unions, bearing in mind the difficulty on us being able to get a trade union message out there into the wider media?
I think social media for trade unions are important on two counts. Firstly, it's a publishing platform that you own, and it's very cheap. So branch level, national level, regional level, even individual trade unionists have the ability to get a message out there on the net. But perhaps more importantly for unions who believe in collective action, what does social media give you? It gives you, at its purest level, the ability to form groups really quickly with low barriers to entry. By that I mean, in the old days I used to have to book a room, print a leaflet, distribute it, set up a telephone tree, remind everyone to come to the meeting, take some decisions, take the minutes, send it back round. It took hours to organise anything. You can do that in 10 minutes flat on Facebook now. It's an absolutely remarkable ability for trade unions to come together really quickly, and we saw that with the Boycott the News of the World groups that formed up and down the country last week. As soon as the revelations about Millie Dowler